charging night, our passion never fades. They hear the thunder rolling from the stands. The future of the game is in our hands. The sword is drawn, the visor's coming down. We're here to fight and claim our hometown crown. Feel the ground start shaking, hear the battle cry. Raise the purple banner to the Arizona sky. Lace them up, let's go. The moment is at hand. The toughest team to ever grace this land. We are the Knights, the passion and the might, charging down the ice in purple and white. Hear the canyons roar, hear the gold horn blare. We're the Knights, so opponents beware. See Nathan flying, weaving through the pack. Tyler's got a slap shot, there's no turning back. Brody on the boards, a punishing design. Jacob with the puck, he's breaking down the line. The speed of Jackson, the hustle of a Ryer. Christian and Chase are fueling the fire. Tripping Abel, fighting for the zone. This kingdom on the ice, we claim it as our own. We are the Knights, the passion and the might, charging down the ice in purple and white. Hear the canyons roar, hear the gold horn blare. We're the
All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of AZ Sports Media with the AHU Knights 16U AA team in the white uniforms, the home whites, to the right side on of your main camera here, the right side of the screen, doing their warm-ups. And on the left side, the away team is the Lincoln Way Lancers from the Chicagoland area. And this is our third game of this tournament here. We tied the first game yesterday morning on that outdoor rink. If you didn't see that, sorry, there was a technical glitch. Somebody unplugged our power cable for this massive tech tower that runs the show. So there was some issues at the start of the game, but we got it going and ended up finishing that game against the Junior Hurricanes from Carolina as a 3-3 tie. But then last night we played against and I just got hit by a puck, even though I'm behind the netting. Okay. Yeah, last night we ended up with a 2-0 win. That was against Des Moines. And so we are undefeated, 1 win, no losses, 1 tie. That puts us in the 2nd seed because the Texas Warriors are undefeated with 2 wins. And they play on this sheet of ice right afterwards, right after us.
Oh, I'll stay and watch.
So, yeah, the Warriors are in 1st place. We are in 2nd place, and those Hurricanes are in 3rd place. This Lincoln Way team, I believe, is so far seeded 4th place. And so this game is really important to us because if we win it, then we are definitely a top 2 seed. If we lose this game, we could end up as the number 4 seed going into the playoffs for this tournament. So important for our boys to skate really hard, have a very high compete level, battling and winning for every single loose puck, and quick, clean passing, which that was the key yesterday. We absolutely dominated because our compete level and our passing were fantastic, and we need to keep that going every period for every game, really, but especially this one. All right, teams gathered around their nets, getting each other ready to go. And we'll start this game in just a couple of minutes. All right, here we go. 14-minute periods for this tournament. Like I said yesterday in that game, we're used to at least 15 and sometimes 17-minute periods. This one will go with 4. And who we got out there? We got Matt Yankee and net. Up front to start this game, we got Tenpenny and Castilli and Chase Reinhardt. And they're backed up by Logan Lawrence and Liam George. And here we go.
Looks like the Lancers have green on that.
Yeah, it looks like black and green. All right, little battle in the corner. Tenpenny comes up with it, chips it up. Castilli takes a big hit there. Tenpenny with a shot on goal. No, hits the net wide. Reinhardt fighting for that against 3 Lancers. And gets a shot on goal. Tenpenny grabs the loose puck, throws it right in, shot on goal. And then Castilli from behind the net tries to backhand it right in front. It goes off their player right on goal. And their goalie just covers it up. Full change for the Knights here. There's Olsen, goes into the corner and ends up with the puck. Tries to chip it to New Year, who skates away from it. New Year comes up with the loose puck in the corner, sends it right out front to Olsen. Olsen needs to have his stick on the ice when he's in front of the net. You cannot wait and give it a one-timer. Your stick has to be flat on the ice when you're standing in front of our net, in front of their net, ready to shoot. Chipped out by Jackson Lindsay, but sent right back in and then back out into the neutral zone. Lincoln Way tries to chip it, but goes right onto Lindsay's stick. He's got 2 players behind him, tried to drop it, but didn't work. Trip New Year skating along the blue line, but couldn't keep it in. Nice little pinch and bump there from Brody Smith. Lincoln Way trying to skate it up. Pressure, though. Can't quite get it out of the zone. Sends it right to Nathan Dages, who skates it back in and then out and then back in by Xander Turner. Dages gets a shot on goal as that puck came loose right in the slot. Good pressure by the Knights. But this Lincoln Way team seems to be a bit more of a challenge than what we had last night. So we got to go like this all game long.
Yeah, definitely putting more forward pressure.
Yeah, loose puck off the faceoff. Oh, and 2 great chances there. Right in front of the net from Xander Turner. Goalie was lucky to save those. And Lincoln Way scrambles a little bit, ends up sending it all the way down for icing. Great offensive pressure from the Knights. Let's win this faceoff. And Turner does win it. It goes forward, though, but then right to the Lincoln Way team. Harrison struggles to grab that puck off the ice as they send it down. Icing waved off. Lawrence in there to give a bump in the corner. Comes up with the puck and sends it around for Zawaga, who then sends it out off of Dage's stick, who then hustles. Nice work there. Finished that check, though. Kept in by Harrison. Very nice to get there just in time, but now it gets out. Throws it back in, kicked out by Lincoln Way. Zawaga ends up sending it back in behind the Lincoln net. Great pressure from the Knights, who keep it in, send it back down, but then eventually out and into the bench area. So we'll have a neutral zone face-off.
Lincoln defensive end, doing a good job recovering, but they have struggled. They haven't put any shots on net yet.
No, they have not really had any actual offensive zone time. Not really any control or possession in their offensive zone. It's been all night so far, but again, it's really early. We have to go like this for the entire game. Oh, almost right in front. Liam George picks it up, throws it back in, but blocked by a skate. Castilli there pressures in the corner. 2-on-2 battle. Castilli comes up with it, but then off the end of his stick. Oh, a nice try by Georgie to keep that in front of him, which he did, but it does get out of the zone. Lincoln Way skates it all the way in. Brody Smith ends up in that corner, bumping his man off of the puck. Lincoln Way takes it into the opposite corner, sends it right in front. There's a guy wide open who gets a shot on goal. But no go. Matthew Yankee there to stop it. Comes onto Tenpenny stick, who chips it, and it ends up going all the way down for icing. So, D-zone face-off here. Got Harrison and Heinz on D. New forward line coming in with New Year, centering Olsen and Lindsay. D-zone face-off won by the Knights. New Year chips it up, but it goes right to the Lincoln Way point man, who sends it all the way around. And then somehow onto the Lincoln Way stick. Shot on goal from them, right from the slot. Tipped in front, very dangerous. Then thrown in front with a backhand. Again, very dangerous. Still in the corner, up to the Lincoln Way point. Sends it back down, nobody there, so it's going to go around behind the net. Lincoln Way putting on the offensive pressure now. We need to pick it back up and start winning these battles right here. And have a little bit better passes like that. But Lindsay is able to get control and chip it out of the zone, and Olsen chases it all the way down to the end boards. Gets bumped there a little bit, loses control. Sloppiness in the neutral zone ends up on Lindsay's stick, who sends it in behind the net. Olsen's there to retrieve it in the far corner. Olsen shuffles it to Lawrence, who just came on the ice. Chipped, recovered by Harrison at the point. Gets a shot on goal.
That puts us at 6-2 shots on net, so it's Lincoln.
Yeah, but I really don't like what I saw down at the far end. They had way too many premium chances.
For sure.
Shot from Liam George, blocked. Liam, last night was his first time ever playing defense. He did a great job, and here he is doing it again for us right now. But one thing he needs to learn is you cannot watch your shot from the point. If it's going to be blocked, you're going to give away a breakaway the other way. So you let that shot go, and then you immediately start backing up. Comes onto Georgie's stick, sends it around for Lawrence, who then sends it back. Zawaga over there on the half board, who then eventually gets it onto Turner's stick, who chips it up for Dagis. Skates it through the neutral zone, doesn't quite make it all the way into the offensive zone, but then Turner again with it, who chips it in onto the stick of Lincoln Way. Tries to get it out off a leg pad, but into the neutral zone. And they send it all the way down. Lawrence retrieves it there behind his own net. Makes a nifty little move. Tries to make the outlet pass. Little high and hard. So it goes right onto the Lincoln Way in the neutral zone, who sends it right back in deep. Lawrence sends it around to Brody Smith, who then chips it to his teammate, who sends it across to Zwaga. Ends up throwing it into the opposite side corner, but nobody there to retrieve it. So it ends up going out. And Heinze there in our own zone throws it back out into the neutral zone, picked up by Reinhardt, who skates it into the zone. Not much pressure there, so he gets all the way in. Tries to throw it in front for Tenpenny, but it ends up going to the point onto Smith's stick. He takes a shot, but that's blocked. Tenpenny retrieves it in the corner. Sends it back down to Reinhardt. Sends it right in front, but Pastilli was tied up. Lincoln Way skates it out and into their offensive zone. Throws it right in front. Dangerous deflection off of Smith's skate. But Yankee was there ready for it and covers. So
good reaction from Yankee.
Yeah, very good reaction. And we will get a E-zone face-off right here. Again, too many premium chances. I don't like it. We're working harder in the offensive zone than we are in the defensive zone maybe. And we certainly can't have that. That chip needs to get up and off the glass if you mean to get it out of the zone. But it did make its way out with the help of Pistilli, who chases it all the way down into the corner. Then onto Reinhardt's stick, who is now battling, getting some support, but it ends up with Lincoln Way. Harrison keeps it in, but can't quite hold it the whole time. Shot was well over the net and out of the zone. Retrieved there by Tenpenny, who chips it up. Lincoln Way chips it back. Onto Reinhardt's stick. Lawrence tries to make a one-time pass, doesn't quite make it, and Harrison tries to chip that out, doesn't quite get out, and so they get a shot on goal. All right, so we'll have another D zone face-off. Again, I'm really not liking this. It's a 0-0 game. We need to be a lot more steady with our outlets and our breakouts and our clearing chips. Puck ends up in the corner. 2-on-2 battle. Goes to the point. Lincoln Way gets another clear shot on goal. Rebound, scramble, but covered by Yankee. I want to win these faceoffs and win those battles with clear control.
That one almost from the blue line.
Yeah, that puck ended up at the blue line with a clear shot on goal. Controlled by by New Year, but doesn't chip it out. Again, this time it does get out on a rebound. Yeah, I think Lincoln Way has increased their compete level significantly. We dominated those first several minutes. But I think Lincoln Way is awake now.
Yeah.
They're winning a lot of the battles. Their compete level is matched with ours now.
Red Bull kicked in.
Yes. Puck goes into the corner. Georgie retrieves it there and makes the hit. But the puck gets loose for a shot, which goes wide of the goal. All the way around to the far point, who sends it back in behind the net and all the way around into the far corner. Retrieved there again by Lincoln Way. Tries to throw it in front. Brody Smith blocks the first one.
The net's off.
But okay. Yeah, Brody made a nice play to block that first centering pass, but it went right back on the Lincoln Way stick, and it went right back in center in front of the net for another shot on goal. Very, very dangerous. Yankee not able to cover, but the net did come off the moorings. So another D-zone faceoff controlled by the Knights. Onto Lawrence's stick. He backhand chips it off the glass, but it doesn't get out. Ends up on Dage's stick, who skates it all the way down. Can't really get a shot on goal or control that. So we end up with Lincoln Way skating through the neutral zone, 2-on-2. Ends up back. Yeah, we have way too much. Lincoln Way is getting way too much control of this puck in their offensive zone. It looks like the Knights may have slowed down just a little bit. Ends up on Lawrence's stick in the corner. Gains control, sends it around to Heinze, who is a little slow getting to that puck. Miscommunication between Heinze and Zwaga right there. But puck ends up getting out of the zone, going all the way down. Good pressure from Dages. Lawrence pinching down, but gets pressured and can't keep that puck in. So Xander Turner back into the D zone to recover, who then starts skating it up. Reaches the red line and throws it all the way in, while most of the Knights change.
A lot of good hits in this game so far.
Yeah, several
ways.
For both teams. Yep. Puck gets out, sent back in by Chase Reinhardt. Lawrence then gets it, chips it into the zone, bounces over the Lincoln Way stick, so Reinhardt gets control behind the net. Tries to wrap around, ends up going right in front onto Pistilli's stick, who can't put it in. But that was a shot on goal. Lincoln Way gets control, skates it all the way down behind our net. Tenpenny there, pressured. Still a lot of scramble in the offensive zone. Up to the point and down back behind the net. Lawrence there to retrieve that. Nice chip back to Reinhardt, who needs to skate that puck. Can't really stand still. 2 steps and then pass it. Ends up going to Pistilli, loses it, but then picked up by Tenpenny, who sends it in and around. Pistilli coming in for pressure. Nice hit by Tenpenny. Clean hit as the man had the puck. Shoulder to chest. Olsen grabs it and fires, but goes wide of the net. Ends up on Brody Smith's stick, who throws it in. Deflects off a skate, but goes wide of the net. Into the neutral zone, and Harrison sends it back in deep. Delayed offside, so Olsen just has to clear the zone. Lincoln Way throws it right onto Jackson Lindsay's stick, who tries to shoot, but blocked. Send it up to that D-man, and he does. Harrison gets a shot. Oh, it bounces and hits the crossbar, but does not go in. Onto Trip New Year's stick, sends it across to Ryer Olsen. Back to Harrison, who gets a shot on goal. Gloved, but rebound, and then covered by the goalie.
I'm going to replay that Tenpenny hit from earlier.
That was a nice hit.
Great mid-ice.
Just as the man grabbed the puck, tried to skate, had their head down, Tenpenny not really had to do a whole lot except stand there and put his shoulder right into the chest. Chipped up and around by Lincoln Way, who then tries to chip it to the neutral zone, and they do. End up with control, sending it down into the deep corner. Brody Smith around behind the net to retrieve. Chips it up for Lindsay, who's in the corner now battling for it. With help from Smith, who sends it around, but it just goes to the point man, who sends it right back down, who then sends it in towards our net, but wide, and up to the point man. On to Trip New Year's stick with speed in the neutral zone. That is definitely a penalty. This ref did not want to call it, but eventually put his arm up. That should probably be a penalty shot, as that was a very severe hooking while New Year had control. I don't think it's going to be a penalty shot, but that will be a 2-minute power play for the Knights. Okay, and our top power play line comes on with Tenpenny centering between New Year and Reinhardt, Liam George and Logan Lawrence. Face-off win up to Lawrence, who sends it to New Year, who sends it back to Lawrence, over to Reinhardt, across to New Year. Back to Lawrence at the top point. Shot on goal, and it's in! And it's in! Wow. Seemed a little too easy.
Yeah.
That's Lawrence's fourth goal in less than 3 games. Fourth goal for this weekend, and that's a very rare thing for him. He usually is less than 1 point a game. He's now got at least, I'm not sure if he's got any assists, but that's 4 points in 2 minutes and 1 period. All right, so Knights are up 1-0. Okay.
We'll run that again while they reset. Great back and forth. Good passing. Centers it through traffic.
Nice, clean passing. Nice, clean, quick passing. Just do the simple, easy thing, but do it really, really well. And that's what they did. All right, puck behind our net. Lawrence sends it around for Dages, who can't quite handle it. Goes to the Lincoln Way man, but he can't handle it either. Dages backhands it, goes through the neutral zone all the way down. Lincoln Way takes it behind their own net. Sends it up, but it goes right on Dages' stick, but then jumps over Georgie's stick. Lawrence is back, but he's covering 2 guys. Goes to the far side. Georgie gets there. Eventually to Lawrence, who with clean possession behind his net, throws it to Zwaga, who chips it up, ends up on Lincoln Way stick. As they recover, Knights are changing, so a lot of space for Lincoln Way, but shot is blocked. Eventually comes out of the D zone into the neutral zone, right onto Brody Smith's stick, who sends it to Chase Reinhardt. He's got Pastilli with him, but he's going to do it himself, and a shot hits the crossbar. Over to Heinze, who gets a shot tipped in front, but goes just wide. Tenpenny to the far boards. Ends up with control. Throws it in front. Pastilli's there. That's a serious hook. Again, not called. And that's the end of the penalty. Okay. So, Knights with really good offensive flourish there to finish that period. Again, I'm still a little worried that we did give Lincoln Way a little bit too much clear offensive zone time for themselves. They got too many really good chances right in front of our own net. We need to clean that up a little bit. Otherwise, we are playing fantastic. We got to keep going hard. All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back for the second period.
It's a pass and it's a shot and it's a goal and it's one of Arizona nights. We just want the second one. And it's a pass and it's a shot and it's a goal and it's two of Arizona nights. The fans are excited and the parents are in the stands and the boys are on the ice and we're about to drop the puck. The boys are back, they're on the attack and we are gonna take this game away. The boys are back, they're on the attack and we are gonna take this game away. The boys are back, they're on the attack and we are gonna take this game away. The boys are back.
All right, we're back for the second period. Teams switch sides, of course, so now the Knights are defending the left side of your screen. Got the far change, makes everything a little bit more difficult when trying to substitute players. Knights win the faceoff, goes back for Heinze, who then backhand chips it up to Pastilli, but who tries to chip it out, but it doesn't get out. Eventually onto Brody Smith's stick, sends it out for Reinhardt. Ends up back on Reinhardt's stick, he sends it all the way in deep and around their net. Over to Pastilli in the corner, who makes a nice hit to gain control. Ends up on Tenpenny's stick, throws it into the corner. To Reinhardt in front, who throws it but wide of the net, goes all the way around. Comes to Heinze, but Lincoln Way sends it all the way down, and that will be icing. Offensive zone faceoff coming here. We are now winning a good number of faceoffs, and we need to keep that going. Struggled with that a lot. Struggled very mightily in the last several weeks. But last night's game, and then again today, winning a good number of faceoffs. We need to keep that going. Harrison with a shot that gets blocked from the point, but the puck comes back to him. He sends it into New Year, who then loses control. Here's a one-on-one with Lawrence, but he's able to get control and send it back in all the way around. Olsen goes in there and gets control of that puck with little effort, but it ends up coming out and around. Lawrence grabs it in the neutral zone, tries a sauce pass, but it's way too soft to make it to Olsen. There's Lawrence right in the middle of the net. In the middle of the ice, right in front of his own net. Gets control, but nobody, or chips that puck, but nobody else to gain control. Eventually comes around back behind his own net, but he loses it. Lincoln Way can't handle that. Olsen skates it out of the zone and passes it up. Ends up on Lindsay's stick, who then finishes it with a beautiful backhand. Wow, miscue by Lincoln Way in the neutral zone. Soft little chip ends up getting through onto Jackson Lindsay's stick, and he makes no mistake with a beautiful move. Wow, so the Knights up 2-0 at the beginning of the second period.
I'm going to make one little adjustment to the camera real quick. It's not happy. Got some shaking, so I won't be tracking here for a second. Sorry for those watching at home. We'll get back to tracking here in just a second.
All right, so Lincoln Way gains control off the faceoff and sends it down into our zone. Lincoln Way
There we go.
is picking up the pace. They know they're in trouble now, down 2-0. Try a wraparound, but Smith is there to stop that, but puck is still loose. Back onto the Lincoln stick. Smith ends up working in the corner. We got a 2-on-2 battle here. Smith and Turner trying to come up with that puck. Can't quite do it. Lincoln gets control, sends it right in front, but Georgie is there to grab it, and he skates it all the way up, sends a beautiful pass across to Dages, who sends it in deep. Puck ends up going all the way around, eventually to Zwaga's stick, and then tipped right onto Xander Turner's stick, who backhands it, but not quite. Goalie covers that. And we'll get an offensive zone faceoff here.
While I was adjusting, did you happen to see any shots on goal by Lincoln? that I might have missed tracking?
No, I think
Oh.
they got none in that time. Close though, but not quite. All right, Lincoln gets possession. Bumped there by Lawrence. A nice hit just as the Lincoln man gains control of the puck. Lawrence knocks him off, ends up back on our stick, ends up behind the net, and then right in front of the net, shot by Tenpenny is blocked. Puck goes in the corner for Reinhardt, who easily skates out of the corner with control. Back up to the point for Heinze, who walks the line a little bit and then shoots low. Beautiful shot, little rebound, but controlled. I want to see many more of those low shots because those rebounds happen and we're going to tip some of them in. All right, nice pressure by the Knights. Lincoln Way has upped their compete level, but still not able to handle the kind of pressure that the Knights are putting on. Tenpenny wins the faceoff. Reinhardt sends it to Lawrence, who sends it in deep around for Pastilli. Over to Tenpenny. In front for Reinhardt, but can't quite tip it in. Lawrence there to chip it back down and back to the point. Lawrence sends it in deep again for Pastilli. Behind the net, right in front for Reinhardt. One-timer just wide of the net. Tenpenny and Pastilli working for that puck in the corner again, but Lincoln comes out with it. Skates out of the zone. Tries to chip it deep, but Lawrence stops that. Eventually fires it behind our net onto Heinze's stick, who then makes a move, but didn't clear the zone. Lawrence makes another big hit in the corner here, but nobody in front.
Oh, that was in.
Except for a loose puck, which Lincoln eventually knocks into the net. Heinze was trapped up at the blue line after he failed to clear the zone. Lawrence was down here in the corner finishing his hit, but nobody was covering the front of the net. And that puck made its way there. That's unfortunate. As the game is now going to be 2-1 with 10 minutes, 10 seconds to go in the second period.
Shots are currently at 14-12 in favor of the Knights.
Okay. As we know, anything can happen. We've been dominating the play pretty well, but it's a one-goal game. And just like that right there, Lincoln gets into the zone. And the Knights are struggling to gain control and get it out of the zone. But excellent play by Georgie there. And eventually comes up with possession. Sends it to New Year. New Year bumps his man behind the net. But the puck comes all the way around. Harrison there keeps it in at the blue line, but it eventually comes out. Georgie gets it, chips it back in onto Lindsay's stick, who gets a shot on goal. Goalie covers, and so we got an offensive zone faceoff. New Year taking that with Olsen and Lindsay. And we got Smith and Lawrence back on D. And it does come to Lawrence, who sends it quickly back down as he was under pressure. Goes all the way around for Lindsay, who sends it up, but too soft. But Smith is able to keep it in, chips it back down. Behind the Lincoln net, all the way around. Olsen gets it, but can't quite handle it. Lawrence was trying to defend the blue line. Shot on goal off of Yankee's shoulder. Lawrence then gets it, chips it out for Lindsay, and we have a 4-on-1, but not a decent pass.
Wow.
Still loose. They send it all the way down. This should be icing. You know, we really don't need a 4-on-1, and the Knights were all in a straight line, which means the pass can't really be made. A 4-on-1 is not better than a 2-on-1, especially if you're going to be in a straight line.
Yeah, we have three grouped together.
Yeah, what we really want is maybe a 3-on-1 where they form a triangle. That fourth guy just drop back and let it happen, you know? All right, so we lose the faceoff. Lincoln gets control and skates it out. Watch the far side, watch the weak side. Okay. They end up sending it around. Lawrence gets into the corner there. Nice battle. But loses it to the D side. He needs to keep his hips to the D side. They try a wraparound. That's not going to work. Lawrence gets control, chips it up to the hash marks for Dages, who then sends it over, but it goes off the skate of Zwaga. Hit off the puck there by Reinhardt, who then sends it back in. Not on goal. Yankee tried to play it, but it was far too wide. Lawrence gets control, sends it around. Jay just a little too slow to get back up there. But that shot is blocked onto Dages' stick. And then we got Dages and Zawaga. Dages ends up keeping it. Shot shoots, but I don't think that went on goal.
No, that went off the post.
It hit the post, okay. Then we got Harrison who kept that puck in there at the blue line, and this time he can't keep it in. But grabs it in the neutral zone, sends it back down onto a Lincoln stick. They try to send it out, but it gets blocked and back into the corner. Sent all the way around. Harrison pinches down a little bit, goes and gets that. Shot off the side of the net. Turner tried to throw it in front, but that was blocked. Lincoln gets it and throws it all the way down for icing. All right, again, it's a one-goal game, and we really are dominating the play, but we also are giving them a couple too many opportunities. We need to clean up our D-zone coverage and keep on the offensive pressure. All right, we win the faceoff. It ends up back to the point for Harrison, who shoots right on goal. Loose puck, covered by the Lincoln goalie. All right, so we'll get another offensive zone faceoff, and we need to win it. Here's Tenpenny with Pastilli and Reinhardt, backed up by Harrison and George. We do win that faceoff. Back to Harrison again, who shoots, and I think it hit somebody and went just a little wide of the net.
Just deflected.
Yeah, Georgie gives it at the point, shoots right on net, gloved by the goalie. Okay, good pressure. Keep winning these faceoffs. Keep controlling this puck. Tenpenny again with the offensive zone faceoff. Here we go. He does win it, and it does end up on Georgie's stick at the blue line, but apparently not out.
Didn't cross.
Pastilli got control of that, tried to throw it in, but not quite. It ends up coming all the way down. Georgie with a backhand pass across the goal mouth, but makes it to Harrison, who sends it up to Pastilli and across, but onto a Lincoln stick. They chip it in. Tenpenny retrieves. Tries to throw it around, but whiffs, then throws it perfectly to Pastilli and right onto Reinhardt's stick with speed. It goes in for a 1-on-2, beats the first man. Second, beautiful 2-on-1 there. Didn't quite finish the pass. Tenpenny gains control. Behind the net for Reinhardt. Throws it in front for Pastilli, but can't connect. Goes up to Smith, who then chips it back down. Back to Smith. And then back to Pastilli. Back to Smith and out. Heinze picks it up to Smith, who sends it over to Reinhardt. Reinhardt skates it in, skates it deep, and shoots a very wide angle. I think it went off the side of the net.
Actually, it went off the side of his face.
Okay, so maybe shot on goal. Oh, hits Heinze in the skate, who then trips. Breakaway, but Smith here. Okay, and covered by Yankee. Good back check by Smith to make sure that that shooter had no options, and Yankee was clear and being set up for the shot. All right, so we'll take a D-zone faceoff again. I really love the pressure and the offensive, control by the Knights, but we, again, just gave them a very good opportunity that we cannot allow. And we lose this D-zone faceoff, comes onto New Year's stick, shot again blocked, but ends up in Yankees' glove. Okay, we need to win these D-zone faceoffs. They're even more important than the O-zone faceoffs. New Year does not win that. It goes on to Lincoln Way stick. Yankee has trouble seeing it, but makes the stop. On to Georgia's stick, who sends it up and goes all the way down. No icing because they touched it. They send it around, but it ends up on Georgia's stick again, who tries to send it across. Actually, nice play for New Year. Throws it up to Lawrence, but Lawrence is on his weak side. He's got his stick on the wrong side because he's right-handed on the left side, so has trouble, but eventually gets control. Eventually makes it way over to Georgie, who then gets it back and fires it in, but wide of the net. Behind the net for New Year. Sends it up to Lawrence again. Retrieves it with his backhand. Sends it over and down for New Year, who was moving. New Year chips it back down for Olsen. Skates it behind the net. Looking for somebody, but we have a D-man changing. Sends it across, goes through the middle, ends up on Harrison's stick. Goes back behind the net. Olsen there trying to get it, but we lose it. Lincoln sends it all the way down. And icing. Just wide of the net.
Shots on goal, 19-16.
Okay. Yeah, we are dominating the play, but we're giving them too many chances. I know I've said it multiple times, but this is dangerous. It's a one-goal game, and they're almost even with us on shots, even though possession time is dominated by the Knights. All right, we do win this offensive zone faceoff. We gain control. Shots are blocked, though. Eventually to Lincoln in the corner, trying to skate it out, but not quite making it. Brody Smith keeps it, skates it, makes the chip pass, but can't quite catch it cleanly by Dages. Goes to Harrison at the point, and then back around to the corner. Kept in by Turner, but then he loses it. Nice play there by Harrison to take the puck carrier, but somehow that puck ended up coming loose.
Good. Extracurriculars.
A little bit of pushing and shoving after the whistle. Harrison doesn't like that, so he comes back with his own. Typical kind of thing, especially right in front of the goalie after the whistle.
Do we have offsetting?
It's going to be both of them. It's going to be both of them offsetting penalties. Both of you guys take a timeout, chill out for a few minutes. No serious effect on the rest of the game as they're simply offsetting. But a D zone face-off for the Knights. Which, as I've said many times, we need to win this. Xander Turner in there to take that face-off. And we do not win it. It goes right onto a Lincoln stick, dangerously through all the legs. Matt Bianchi could barely see it, but it goes just wide of the net. Eventually ends up back on Turner's stick, who chips it to Lawrence. But it was a little too soft. Lawrence had to reach back for it and then skated out of the zone, but lost control. Lincoln skates it lazily around behind the net, but not pressured. So they keep control until eventually hit in the corner by Hines. And then Turner gets control, sends it around, but it goes back to Lincoln. Heinze here in the corner, supported by Turner, but Lincoln wins possession. They send it back down. Heinze makes the play. On to Turner's stick, who then chips it over to Dages, and it gets out of the zone. They tried to fire it all the way down, but ends up hitting their own player on the bench. And so this will be a neutral zone faceoff.
I don't know, the replay of that hit in the corner, I actually thought I saw an arm go up. So
yeah, I looked right away. It was, it was Hines and the Lincoln player were both still standing in that corner as they just finished their battle. When it came right back to them, Heinze really just bumped him. He didn't have any move. He didn't have any room to actually gain any speed, so it was really mostly a bump, but it was right there up against the board. So I'm not surprised they didn't call a penalty, even though it was sort of from behind. All right, eventually still scrambly as Pastilli couldn't catch that pass on his backhand. Olsen in front of our own net just throws it out of the zone. It ends up going all the way down, but on goal. He does not cover. He plays it. Tenpenny in the corner gains control. Throws it in front for Pastilli, who can't quite finish it. Georgie pinches down, grabs that puck, and skates around behind the net onto Pastilli's stick. We have a line right now that has no D-men out there.
Oh, is that what's going on?
Georgie has been playing D, and with Harrison in the box, they then put Olsen on D. Lawrence comes back out as the only actual D-man on the ice for the Knights, who gets fed a pass right in front, and he puts it in the corner. Oh, my Lord. Just as he steps on the ice, he walks into the open spot and gets fed the puck from behind our net, and he finishes it in the glove side top corner.
He was calling for it. He jumped on the ice and saying, gimme, gimme, gimme. Worked.
All right. Knights win the faceoff, gain control, skated in onto New Year's stick, who then gets a shot on goal. Knights lead 3-1 with about a minute and a half left to go in the second period. Lawrence and Hines on D with New Year, Dagis, and Zwega. Chipped out by Lincoln. Hines, he gets there to gain control and throw it back for Dagis, who sends it down and ends up in the deep corner, but Lincoln gets control. Dagis tries to block it. Lincoln gets it, but Dagis comes back with a stick lift and gains control and walks into the high slot, shoots wide of the net, but goalie gloves it. All right, offensive zone faceoff taken by New Year here. And he wins it. It goes back for Lindsay, but instead of giving it to the wide open Lawrence, he curls around, throws it around behind the net for Dagis, who fires it right across the middle of the offensive zone, but it ends up on a Lincoln stick. Here's a one-on-one with Lawrence, who bumps his man at the blue line. Puck comes all the way around. Hines trying to work for control there. New Year skates away from the puck. Ends up on Lawrence's stick, who chips it back around. Shot from the point, blocked by Lawrence, which goes to the other point, which is then blocked by Dagis. And that shot blocked by Matt Yankee right in his chest. All right, 37 seconds left here in the second period. Knights making a full change.
We have any? Well, we've got D players set back out again.
Miles Harrison, the only true D-man, who's on the ice for the Knights. But Georgie, again, his second game ever playing D and is doing a fantastic job. Olsen tries to skate it up, but can't quite make the move. He gets stopped there in the neutral zone. And Lincoln comes up with the puck, skates it into our zone. They just throw it around. Georgie's there to battle for it in the corner. Eventually, he comes up with control. Backhand chip out of the zone, and Turner's there to chase it down. We have a 2-on-1. 2 seconds. Thrown on goal, but blocked. I think was that a shot on goal, or was that blocked by their diving player?
It was blocked by the diving player.
Okay. To finish the second period. All right. Again, same story. Knights playing excellent, very high compete level. And making good, clean, quick passes, dominating the possession time and the offensive control. But we are giving Lincoln a few too many chances. It's a 2-goal game with 1 period to go. We cannot let them get any more good chances. All right, we'll take a quick little break. We'll be right back.
It's a pass and it's a shot and it's a goal and it's one of Arizona Nights. We just want the second one. And it's a pass and it's a shot and it's a goal and it's 2 Arizona Nights. The fans are excited and the parents are in the stands and the boys are on the ice and we're about to drop the puck. The boys are back, they're on the attack. And we are gonna take this game away. The boys are back, they're on the attack. And we are gonna take this game away.
Shots on goal, and we come back to 23-19.
Okay, still pretty even. 23-19, that's not a big separation. And again, we need to keep going. We have to limit their shots. We have to limit their shots, for sure. We're up by 2. We can't take any chances. It's really important just that we limit their opportunities and shots on goal. Tenpenny comes up with it, does get a shot on goal, deflected off a skate, and went on goal, but not in. Tenpenny still gains control, fighting for it in that corner, and he gets it. But he's fighting basically 3-on-1, supported here by Pastilli. That puck is going to come out. Lincoln gets it. Nice little pinch there by Harrison to keep that puck in onto Reinhardt's stick. Tries to shoot it, but blocked off a skate. Bastilli gets it on the half wall. Sent back around for Lincoln, who then chips it, but Harrison keeps it in again. Send it open. Send it to a wide open. Bastilli shoots, but blocked. Loose puck in front of the net. Sent up again. Harrison keeps it in again. And shoots that one. Tipped by Tenpenny right on net. Reinhardt over there to fight for it. Again, this time it gets out. But Georgie there on the spot to pick that up and chip it back down. Now we got a 2-on-2. Sent across the goal mouth, and I think knocked across by Yankee.
Yeah.
Into the corner. Lincoln picks it up behind our net. It somehow pops up over the net and right in front. Shot, hits somebody, but not on net. Another shot across the goal mouth. Georgie racing for it and gets there. But a penalty against us. Holding penalty against, is that going to be Harrison? His second penalty of the game. He is becoming a goon. No, Miles is a really great kid, and I've never seen him take, I'm not sure I've seen him take one penalty in a game, let alone two. But this is some high-level intensity, and it's gonna happen. Here we go. New Year takes the D-zone face-off on the PK. Lawrence gets the control and throws it all the way down. Lincoln with it behind their own net. Skates it all the way through the neutral zone and into the D-zone, but Lawrence is there to stop the shot. Blocked up and out of play. D-zone face-off to the left of Matt Yankee on this PK. Lincoln gets it, chips it back to their point man, who fires it right on net, but blocked aside by Yankee. They gain control and take it around behind the net. Slowly into the corner. Pressure there from Lawrence, who then blocks the pass, but it goes back to Lincoln. Again, Lawrence blocks the pass. This time chips it and chases it and doesn't get control.
And they get it.
Oh, no. Very sharp angle shot. There must have been a tiny sliver of opening, and it snuck under. I think it snuck under Matt Yankee's armpit.
Yeah, watching the replay on it. Yeah, they get the shot. Yeah, it just went. There was a sliver between his pad and his glove.
All right, so we got a one-goal game. Again, Knights still dominating the play, but we did take a penalty there, and we paid for it. Puck goes back up to Georgie, but out of the zone. Knights gain control, send it back in deep behind the Lincoln net. He tries to chip it out, but it hits Xander Turner. They eventually do get it out, but Harrison is there to hold the line and send it back down. Lincoln gets it back and sends it out. Harrison with the puck here, chips it up to Turner. And Dages comes back to Turner, who makes a nice move to skate in. And a backhander across, but Zwaga's not quite there. Lincoln gets the puck, skates it all the way down, pressured by Lawrence there. Lawrence lost his stick, but you play defense with your feet, which is what he's doing. Shot from the point goes well wide of the net. Chipped up to Zwaga. But then back in onto Turner's stick, who sends it across to Lawrence, who sends it over to Harrison with two really nice passes from both of them. Harrison eventually sends it in. Back behind the Lincoln net. They send it back out as the Knights were changing.
So Lawrence has a stick again.
Yes. Nice hit by, I think that was Pastilli. Separate the man from the puck so that Tenpenny gains control. Sends it sent back up, but a little sloppy as the Knights can't control that. Eventually back behind our own net. There's Lawrence with it, who sends it over, but there's no forward. Forward's supposed to be at the hash mark, ready for that. Eventually makes its way into the neutral zone for Pastilli, who gets bumped off the puck. and to Lincoln, who throws it all the way down. Heinze there behind the net to retrieve, sends it up for Reinhardt, who chips it, but our centerman is not ready. That was Tenpenny, not quite ready for the outlet pass, but now he gains control, sends it, chips it over to Pastilli, who, and it gets tied up. He could have caught that pass off the boards with speed, but it caught up in the ref's feet. Ends up coming back to the Knights' control, and they skate it in. There's Pastilli with it, tries to make a move, but bumped off by two guys. Eventually out of the zone onto Smith's stick, who then chips it over for Heinz, who then throws it up for Pastilli, and who throws it deep as they go for a change. Behind the Lincoln net is the puck. Sends it out all the way down. Should be icing if we hustle. Waved it off because we didn't. So Georgie fights for it there against two and wins, but it ends up on a Lincoln stick. Goes across the goal over to Olsen, who then throws it up for Lindsay, who gets it, tries to throw it in front for New Year, but not quite connecting. That is a leg check, which they didn't call. Lucky for us. Tripping hit. Ends up on Smith's stick, who throws it all the way down and around. Olsen there. No penalties. Take it easy there. Nice hit, shoulder to shoulder, as their Lincoln guy did not, had his back to him, but then turned, so he got him in the shoulder. Puck comes down and in, eventually to the half board. New Year's there to fight for it. Ends up on his Lincoln stick, but Georgie keeps it in. For Olsen, who sends it to New Year, who sends it to Lindsay right in front, but blocked. Lindsay gains control behind the net. Throws it around for Olsen, who instead of throwing it to his D-man, turned and tried to send it back down. Olsen battling now against two. Now getting help from New Year, who gains control. And skates it all himself, even though he had two passes to make. Then throws it back to Georgie, who shoots, but blocked, and makes the hit. And shot on goal from Smith, and finished by Olsen. Wow. Smith made a nice shot from the right in the center of the blue line. Bounced off of, the puck hit flat on the post instead of edgewise. So a lazy rebound comes right onto the stick of Olsen, just a couple feet outside the crease, who then makes no mistake to finish it. All right, so we're back to a two-goal game for the Knights with 7:27 left to go in the third period.
27-23 shots on net. Favor of the Knights.
Comes onto Lawrence's stick, who throws it across right onto Dages' stick. Puck ends up going behind the net. There's Zwaga and Dages. Zwaga gets it, throws it on net, but no, not on net, misses. Over to Harrison, who then throws it on net, almost tipped by Zwaga. Ends up for Turner, who drops it for Lawrence, who sends it back down to Turner. But loses control, is tripped. Back onto Lawrence's stick, one times it. Onto Zwaga's stick, who shot is blocked. Lincoln throws it up and out of the zone and into their offensive zone. Lawrence makes a nice hit. Take that man out of the play. Puck ends up going back around behind our net. Lawrence backhands it around to the half wall. Comes back to him and he throws it around to the other half wall. Zwaga's there. Should get control and does. Tries to throw it out, but instead right off of their stick and right in front of our own net. Harrison there in the corner to bump his man and take him off the puck. They throw it in, but wide of the net. Zwaga there finishes his check, but it goes to their point man, who throws it in lazily, bounces off somebody, but it comes for a loose puck. Tapped in, but then covered by Yankee. All right, so we'll have a D-zone face-off right here.
Good on Yankee for keeping his eye on the puck. There was a lot going on right in front of him.
Yes, there was. And it was, we gained control several times, but did not handle it well and did not clear the zone. This is the danger. We cannot give them opportunities. Anybody could have tapped that puck in just there.
Yeah.
All right. Around to Brody Smith in the deep corner to Chase Reinhardt, who then backhands it up. Pressure from Pastilli all the way behind their net, who then gains control, knocks the man off the puck, and Gates gets it. Reinhardt is there on the spot to chip it back down. And again, but it goes all the way up to Heinze at the blue line, who then throws it down off of Reinhardt's skate onto a Lincoln stick, and they exit the zone. but they lose control over to Tenpenny on the sideboard into the offensive zone, onto Reinhardt's stick, who throws it, shot on goal. Soft one, kicked aside by the netminder. Pastilli behind their net. They need to look up at their point men. The point men are standing wide open. We need to spread out the Lincoln defense, and you do that by sending it to the point. But Tenpenny throws it right to Pastilli, but whose shot is blocked, who then gets it back in the corner onto a Lincoln stick at the half wall. They skate it out. Pressure by Heinze, but they throw it in deep. Brody Smith there to bump the man, but there's two guys there, so they gain control. Heinze throws it behind the net and then around, but doesn't make it all the way around. So it gets onto a Lincoln stick right in front. That shot barely goes wide of the net as Yankee was sprawling. And then Heinze gets bumped big time in the corner, kicked aside by Brody Smith. Thrown back down by the Lincoln point man. Smith then throws it around, but our forward is not quite ready. As Chase Reinhardt, he's been working very, very hard. I'm sure he's gassed, but he's going to go for more. They throw it all the way down. It will be icing. I'm sure we're going to have a full change as these boys have been working very, very hard.
Yeah, running the replay on that earlier, it was good to see Brody use his skate.
Yeah, it was really close to that. He was able to kick that all the way out to their point man. Give us a second of breathing room. All right, D-zone faceoff here taken by New Year. Wins it to Georgie, who skates it a little bit, but he's got as a D-man, he needs to learn how to just chip that up. You're not going to skate that out when there's three opponents in front of you. Ends up going all the way around for Lindsay, who throws it back into the corner for Harrison and Lindsay both fighting there. And still battling 2-on-2 in the corner. We win it up to New Year, who then skates it out and then onto Olsen's stick. Skates it all the way in. Hard cut back across into the middle to Georgie, who gains it but skates into two guys, who then gain control and throw it all the way down. Harrison there in the corner to battle for it. He's taken one. He gets smashed down from behind. Puck goes all the way across to the Lincoln point man. Georgie gets it, throws it up to, not quite, but that can't.
Good hustle.
Oh, they should have waved that off. That should have been waved off.
He was
there. There was no chance for anybody to get that puck except for Trip New Year, who was just about 1 foot short when it crossed the red line. They definitely should have waved that off. Instead, we'll take a D-zone face-off from Xander Turner with Zuaga and Dagis, Lawrence, and Heinz. Comes to Lawrence's stick, who fires it across and out of the zone. Zuaga there giving pressure onto Lawrence's stick, who then sends it across back to Zuaga, who then this time sends it right onto Dagis' stick, who gets a shot, and it was barely tipped by the sprawling D-man and went wide of the net. But back on the Zuaga stick, who then gets a shot blocked by a skate. Onto Lawrence, who throws it into the corner. Around the wall, around the corner to a Lincoln player. Held in by Turner, but then out of the zone for Dagis, who is not sure what to do, throws it right at a Lincoln player. Eventually over onto Lawrence's stick. Tries to throw it across to Dagis, but partially blocked. Ends up on Dagis' stick anyways. Over to Zuaga, who then chases it down into the offensive zone. Kicks it onto Xander Turner's stick. And oh, what a play! As Turner picks it up, he makes a beautiful move to fake a D-man and the goalie. Throws it onto Nathan Dagis' stick, but excellent save by the Lincoln Way goalie, Green. Excellent save. Still a 2-goal game here with 2 minutes and 23 seconds to go. Up to Brody Smith, who makes the play but takes a big hit, pays the price for it. Eventually onto Pastilli's stick, who throws it on goal. Rebound over to Brody Smith, who chips it back down. And this time he's ready for that hit and gives it back better than he got it.
Wow.
Eventually onto Pastilli's stick, tries to keep it in the zone, can't quite do that. Smith sends it to Reinhardt, who sends it, chips it off the boards onto the stick. He's got a man with him, but doesn't see that, so he tries to take the shot, which is blocked. Tenpenny throws it back to Pastilli. Throws it up to the point man, Smith, who fires it. Tipped by Tenpenny, but not on goal. Pastilli tries to gain it, but he's bumped. Tenpenny over to Pastilli behind the net, who throws it in front. Reinhardt's right there, but goalie blocks that pass and then covers it.
I'm going to replay that hit from Brody. He took a hit, pretty hard hit in the corner. He's not feeling great already.
Yep.
He sat for a little bit and just, nope.
Yep. Yeah, we are definitely proud of him. He is nursing an injured shoulder, but playing through it. Smith stays on the ice. Gains control after that face-off. Then gets bumped off the puck, which eventually gets in the neutral zone for Georgie, who gets a shot on goal. Right into the breadbasket, but there is a rebound that gets covered.
Both teams getting really physical.
You know, Lincoln Way has to step. They've been feeling the pressure for the last several minutes. After we scored that fourth goal and they went down by 2, they knew they had no choice but to try and step it up, and they have. But the Knights are handling it well. Tenpenny does not win that faceoff. Goes back behind the Lincoln Way net. They try to throw it out, but blocked by Pastilli, and then blocked by Tenpenny onto Reinhardt's stick, who skates it back in, but can't quite maintain control. So Harrison gets it in the neutral zone and throws it back in for Pastilli, putting on forecheck pressure. Tenpenny, nice job keeping control of that and getting it into the zone and getting control back, and a shot on goal. Again, breadbasket, but rebound, and eventually covered by the Lincoln Way goalie.
It's exciting to see all the opportunities that Tenpenny's getting. I think he's due.
Yeah, he's due for a goal for sure. For sure. He's generally one of our top goal scorers, but he's a little cold right now. But he is working hard this weekend, and he's getting opportunities. And they eventually they will pay off. All right. At some point, there should be a penalty there.
That's some discussion happening.
The Lincoln player, Enright, pushed our guy over top of their goalie, which is why they didn't call Olsen, our player, for the penalty. But eventually, when you land on top of him and cross-check him to the face, at some point, maybe there should be a penalty. Of course, there's only about 45 seconds left in this game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a typical thing in hockey. You protect your goalie, especially when he covers and the whistle blows. But their guy pushed Olsen over top of their goalie. All right, offensive zone faceoff won by New Year. Tried to put it straight on net, but just a little wide. Lincoln tries to get out of the zone. Eventually they do. They skate it out and throw it deep into ours. Delayed offside, so they have to clear the zone. Lawrence comes up with it, throws it up for Lindsay, but ends up on New Year's stick, who then battles to keep that moving forward. Eventually to Lindsay, throws it in front for Olsen. Can't quite get clean control, but held in there by Harrison. Goes into the corner for Lindsay and Olsen. 8 seconds left. Lawrence throws it, but just wide of the net. Onto New Year's stick, who then makes a nifty little move, but not going to do anything with just a couple seconds left. Okay. So Knights finished this game with a 4-2 win. I really like the intensity. I really like the offensive pressure, the clean passing. Everything that I asked for at the beginning of the game did happen. And we need to keep this going for the rest of this weekend and every game, really. High compete level, physicality, quick and clean passing, and we can be very, very successful like we were here today. So we have 2 wins and 1 tie for this tournament so far. The worst we can do is a number 2 seed because the Texas Warriors are undefeated. They play right after us. If they win, they end up as the number 1 seed. And so we're not sure exactly what's going to happen. We're either going to be 1 or 2, and that dictates when we play later tonight. It'll be sometime around 6 p.m. Right back on this rink right here. Okay, everybody. Thanks for watching. Congratulations to the Knights on a hard-fought game and a good win. And we'll see you very soon, everybody. Thank you.
All right, thanks for watching and subscribe.
Yeah,
Desert heat, but we skate on frozen flows. Arizona nights, stacking wins, piling goals. Blades cut the ice, sharper than a hawk's dive. Opponents freeze up, they ain't making it out alive. Blocking shots, wall built like a canyon wide. Stick down, gloves up, leave no room to slide. We dominate, intimidate, no room for the meek. Chirps flying faster than a puck through the crease. Desert ice kings ruling the night, scoring goals, crushing dreams. Take flight, dominate, intimidate, hit a roar. Arizona nights, leaving it all on the floor. Netmind is a fortress, puck stops on demand. Opponents' hopes crumbling like desert sand. Power plays deadly, penalties are